Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on February 15th, 2016. And, this being the final Raw going into Fastlane, it was kind of awkwardly structured. Yeah, and just in a way, like, it ended with something that honestly probably should not have ended on. With the whole with the whole aspect of the Wyatts going up against Big Show and everything. Uh, it felt like they should have saved the whole Roman Reigns thing for last. Just in my own personal opinion. It just came off, like the entire show came off weirdly structured throughout the entire thing. The beginning of the show was just fine. The whole aspect of Dean coming out there calling out Brock Lesnar, getting to know Brock wasn't going to be part of the show, and getting Stephanie to come out there and make the five-way match. I'm not going to call it a fatal five-way. I'm sorry. It's just a five-way match. That's all it is. With the Intercontinental title on the line. I like the little added stipulation there on it to to basically prevent the whole aspect of Roman Reigns coming out there, or if that were to happen, Dean would be out of the match on Sunday. So I like that little stipulation in there. The aspect of Kevin Owens getting the Intercontinental title, okay, I'm completely fine with that as well. The match itself was actually really good, and now Kevin Owens has the Intercontinental title again. It looks like maybe him and Dolph will feud going into Fastlane. As a matter of fact, they had the promo afterwards trying to set that up, and obviously with the Kevin Owens still playing the whole aspect of what he normally does, which is try to dodge the matches whenever he can. So they'll probably set up something like that on Thursday night. Things like that. That was fine in how they set up everything. It was just like how throughout the show, it's like matches that really had no purpose towards storyline got a lot of time in there, which made it feel like they had to rush other things that were particular to storyline. And one example was the Paige Summer Rae match. That match went on for a good chunk of time, and that one had no story to it, and it kind of, I won't say it didn't necessarily say an awkward ending, but it had an ending that you would have thought they would have gone a different direction with. But then again, like I said, it was just a match that was kind of there. There was no story behind it. There's nothing that's setting up towards later on. I mean, you had the promo with Brie Bella and Charlotte early on. That wasn't too bad. It was a decent way of trying to garner some heel heat going into it. Oddly enough, cheaply heel heat again, mainly focusing the whole aspect of Daniel Bryan and his retirement and what Bree should be doing and everything like that. Like taking care, like they made Charlotte go out there and say, oh, she should be at home taking care of her husband and her sister who's injured instead of being doing this and everything like that. But obviously, like Bree was not having any of that. It's like she wants the title, all that good stuff in there, and eventually just leading into the brawl afterwards, which was okay. Like I said, the promo was okay itself. It built up, some really cheap heat going into the pay-per-view match. But then again, that's what they probably needed to do in some way to escalate the interest towards this match. So yeah, we'll see where they go with everything there. But in the end, not horrible promo, but a little bit on the whole. Almost pushing the limits side with where they should have been going with that, but we'll move on. We'll move on from there. I'm kind of stumbling over my words right now. That's kind of how this entire show was. It's kind of like stumbling over things. I like the aspect of Mark Henry continuing on his storyline with the New Day in there, though that match ended awkwardly as well. Like they're playing it off as Mark Henry getting like legitimately injured, having a rib injury during the match, and ending the match with him trying to get out of the big ending, but hurts himself and landing on his ribs and everything like that. Hopefully, that's what they were going for, and it just came off weird. and it wasn't like a real injury in there. That aspect was sucked there. If that was the case, but hopefully the aspect that they were going with was, Mark Henry was playing off of an injury, selling an injury from early in the match and just finishing it off that way. Like I said, the ending to that match came off very awkwardly. Same with other storylines as well, like how Sasha Banks comes out to try to save Becky Lynch, but doesn't get into the ring until even more damage was done to her and everything like that. Things like that, just weird. It was really weird going into Fastlane with this. With the storylines and everything, and like I said, some of these storylines were extremely rushed. And one other area they were talking about, and I'm sensing heel turn from Chris Jericho in here, because after the match with AJ Styles and The Miz, which AJ Styles is still using the calf killer, which they're calling the calf crusher now. Obviously they're not going to call it the calf killer or anything like that, going with PG type show, so I'm okay with that. Calf crusher is not so bad in there, and I like how every single time AJ Styles has been trying to get a word in edgewise, he's been kind of stopped. But this night he was able to cut the promo in there and get his words out. And just in that sense, like I said, I kind of liked that beforehand. It kind of built up anticipation for him to actually start talking. And I liked the promo that he gave off, trying to challenge Chris Jericho in there. And this is where I'm sensing the heel turn from Jericho. It's like, we faced each other and everything like that, but it seems like everybody wants to see it, but I'm not and Jericho's like, I'm not sure I want to face you again. I'll let you know on Thursday type area. So I'm sensing kind of a heel turn from Jericho here, which could be a lot of fun going into Fastlane, and hopefully more pay-per-views down the line. But again, after that, you had a really good moment with the Dudleys reiterating what they had said on SmackDown about the aspect that they weren't going to use tables anymore. First of all, I like this. They turned heel last week. Fans really want the tables, so don't give them the tables. So I like that. I like that aspect, cutting their promo on the Usos and everything like that. And of course, that's probably going to set up something for later on. But the weird thing afterwards was during the promo with Heyman and Roman Reigns. First of all, Heyman, of course, did a really good job, did his normal thing, and Roman Reigns came off all right. I mean, he was having to follow promo-wise after Paul Heyman, and that you can't, at least not Roman Reigns. But he at least came off pretty decent here. I liked his promo in retrospect to Paul Heyman, but then he gets attacked by the Dudleys afterwards, which brings out Dean Ambrose to save him and everything. It just came off a little bit weird because you hadn't, even though you know the history of Paul Heyman and the Dudleys, you haven't had anything since the Dudleys have come back. So it just came off a little bit weird. I mean, if this starts off like a new Heyman family type thing, I think I think that will come off really good. But we'll see where they go with everything. It just was kind of weird that they throw the Dudleys in now with Heyman in some way, shape, or form, and then they attack Reigns afterwards. Or is it supposed to be something that's like, oh, because Reigns and the Usos are cousins that they decided to attack Roman Reigns? Who knows where they're going with this? Obviously, it sets up the tag match for SmackDown with Reigns and Ambrose versus the Dudleys, but we'll see where they go with everything. But like I said, this Raw in general just seemed awkwardly structured in every way. Like, I mean, no offense to the Wyatts. I like the Wyatts and everything like that. But the whole thing with their match being at the end of the show and being the final thing that goes off after Ryback and Kane, obviously setting up some kind of 6-man for the pay-per-view. Just, it came off really weird, and it felt out of place where it was in that sense. Like, it felt like something else should have been at the end of the show versus that. But man, it's just hard to say. But overall, this Raw was just awkwardly structured. You had some good points in there and good things going, but just awkwardly structured where things were placed and how promos were going throughout the night. And the factors that now you have the Del Rio Kalisto match, though a 2 out of 3 fall match, which is going to be good, but now it's on the pre-show instead of on the pay-per-view. In there, and of course they also had Del Rio going over Sin Cara in the 6-man, which was a good 6-man tag, by the way, as well. At least they spent, again, a little bit more time on that one, which had implications towards Fastlane in some way, shape, or form. But it felt like they had a couple things in there that had nothing to do with Fastlane take up a good chunk of time, which forced other things to have a lot less time. Like, there wasn't much time during the main event. There wasn't much time in the match beforehand with it being Becky Lynch and Tamina. It was just like, let's get out there, get it done in 5 minutes, and go type of aspects towards those two things, where you had some things that have no implications towards Fastlane getting like a 10, 15, 17-minute segment in there, and it just came off very awkwardly throughout the entire show. So, like I said, overall, just really, really awkward Raw going into Fastlane. Like I said, you had some good stuff in there, and there was some stuff to enjoy, but just overall, like, really, really weird. Didn't come off all that good to me in the end for the Raw going into Fastlane. I mean, you had no Triple H on there in any way. You figure they would have done something with Triple H instead of just having Stephanie there going into the pay-per-view match with Dean and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, but just ended up being Stephanie there to set up the 5-way match, and that was pretty much it from them in that sense. So, I mean, we'll see where everything goes. I do not think this Raw was very good going into the Fastlane pay-per-view, but we'll see where everything goes for Fastlane, see if they pull off a good show here. And that is my review for Monday Night Raw this week, and I thank you guys for watching.